Guess I'm starting. Okay. I have to open everything. Today I thought I started like at 10 o'clock only. I'm ready and I can able to start 10:55. Whatever we plan, things will happen in different way. Guys, yesterday we installed Windows Server. Also we install a ADDS role and we make this server as a domain controller. Promote this server to a domain controller. So we make this one as a domain controller. This is my forest. This is my domain name, domain16.com. Okay. So, and because of we are not having a very high capacity hardware here anyway. So we don't have a 16 GB or 32 GB RAM. Okay, i5, i7 processor, Xeon processor is not there. So we can't go with the multiple virtual machines with multiple server kind of stuff. Only 2 machines we are doing. So guys, anyone tell me what is the use of server? What is server will do? Provide a service, a client, right? Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is a Active Directory domain? What is a domain controller? Active Directory domain is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Logical administrative boundary of users and computers. So that is Active Directory domain. So what is this Active Directory? What is the Active Directory? Active Directory maintain a database. Directory service maintain that AD, the Active Directory AD database. Name of the Active Directory database is NTDS.DIT. It stores identity of users, computers, groups, services and resources. Resources meaning is printers, scanners, storages. These are all resources only. Okay. So, and also it is authenticate users and computers when they log in to domain or a network. So some places it is also said network. Network means same thing, domain only. Through network there are login, right? So to domain or through network. Okay. So this is Active Directory. So what we discussed. Next, what is a domain controller? What is a domain controller? Is nothing but a server. Nothing but a server. A physical server. Again, so sir, it is a virtual server now. Means we are using virtual machine, but it is a server, not a logical part. Domain is a logical part, but domain controller is not a logical. It is a physical. Okay, so then it is called it is a physical component. It is a server. Okay, server stores Active Directory database. Okay, which is having a Active Directory database. Okay, so this is part, and there is a few more parts are there. There is a theory parts are there. Can we go or not? I'm thinking. It stores Active Directory database. So domain controller is a A physical component means it's a physical server. The server stores Active Directory database. That is our domain controller. So AD domain, Active Directory, database, and what it will do. Yes, Active Directory or ADDS, both are same. Old name is Active Directory in 2003, up to 2003. 2008 onwards, it is ADDS. Okay, only name. Because in Active Directory, there is a different sub kind of stuff came up. So then it's splitted like this. Okay. So what it is? Okay, so it's store databases. And physical components are there. So when we go to the physical components, again, domain controller, global catalog. Global catalog server is nothing but like people also called as a GC. Okay, it's nothing but a server only, which is nothing but a domain controller only. Okay, it is nothing but a server. It is nothing but a domain controller. It is also a domain controller, not a separate one. Okay, so we'll go to the logical components. Here it is. Get here the logical component. First one is domain. Next one is partitions. Logical partitions are there, not a disk partition, guys. Partitions are a domain partitions, means database related partitions. Forest, P, okay, OU, schema, schema, and configuration means site, okay, site. These are all logical components, some of the logical components. Already I told what is a domain. So we'll see what is partitions. Then we'll see OU also. We'll see that one. Partitions. What is this partition?
Sir, in the logical component, you don't have child.
Yeah, we can three child. So child is also a domain. Yeah. Very good. So your Active Directory database name is NTDS.DIT. Okay. So Active Directory database name is NTDS.DIT is divided into four partitions. Okay. So your Active Directory database is divided into four partitions. The partitions are there: schema partition, configuration partition, domain partition, and application partition. Application partition is an optional partition, so it depends upon your infrastructure and application installation. So that is there. Important partitions are there. These three are schema, configuration, and domain partition. Schema partition contains information about so like a information of like a schema only. Okay, so what is the schema? That is also important, right? So what is the schema? Schema is so better we'll go to PPT. We can copy paste from there. It is very easy. Schema is like, when you create an object and attributes, that information, the structure of it is nothing but a structure. STRU. A structure of Active Directory. It's a structure of Active Directory, or we can say blueprint of Active Directory. Okay. So what it is contain? It is what is the content? It is content is objects and attributes. Example, you want to create a user. So user is a object. How to create a user? How to create a group? How to add a client to domain? How to add a OU or like that? So that is called a object. Okay, means user is an object, group is an object, OU is an object, computer is an object. Okay, printer is an object, like that. Object means it's like a kind of account. It is object. So schema will define how to create it, how to maintain it, how it should be there, the structure, the user structure should be there. What are the information? That information like things. So how to maintain, how to gather the information. That's will be defined in a schema only. Okay. Next one is attributes. It's look like a Greek and Latin, so don't worry. Attributes. What is this attributes? When you create a user, obviously you didn't create it. So now I'll just you can see. I will show you. So okay, so attributes are nothing but like a, for example, first name. Maybe it will ask for a email ID. Okay, maybe group scope. Anything. Attributes can be anything like a address. Maybe it will ask your title. Okay, like this. So when you are creating a users, it will ask some information, and also for user having lot of information like email ID, group mail ID, like that. So like a different kind of names, group name, computer operating system. Okay, locations. Okay, address, locations, access permissions. So these are all comes under attributes. Attribute means like a properties type. So there is a user is there, for example, take a user which is user type, easy to type user is Archana is there. Okay, so Archana, first name, last name, and location, phone number. These are all attributes only. But what is Archana? Is a user. User means object. Okay. Of course, there is one more word is there. That is a class is also there. Class. The class represent when you creating a user, a window is open. Okay. When you are creating a user, there is a window. So that window we call it as a class. It's like a class means a template. Okay. Okay, so why we put a most no problem, leave it no problem. Okay, so what is the schema? Schema defines structure of Active Directory or a blueprint of Active Directory. So it is defines objects and their attributes. The schema will define the objects and attributes. Okay, so what are the objects? User is an object, group is an object, OU is an object, computer is an object. So this definitions means the information of schema stores in the schema partition. What it is?
OU means
I didn't get it.
in objects you have written OU now. OU means what?
OU is also object. OU is also object. OU means organizational unit. So I will explain that is what it is. So next one is configuration partition. What is this configuration partitions? So configuration of Active Directory, configuration of Active Directory components. Okay. AD related components. Okay. Configurations like for example ADDS, ADCS, Active Directory, ADRMS configuration. Okay. ADFS, Federation Services, Active Directory, lightweight directory, LDS. Okay. When you configure in your forest, so ADDS or ADCS or ADRMS, those informations stores in the configuration partitions and very useful for installation of applications. Also, it is very useful. For example, you want to install SCCM application, Exchange. Okay, like this. When you are installing, you have to tell to entire forest. Okay, entire forest. There is a ADCS machine is there, already primary machine. Okay, ADRMS server is there. So that entire information means. So it's the structure of what are the different domain controllers are there. So domain CS servers are there, certification services are there, different ADRMS servers are there. Okay, if you install SCCM type of servers, Exchange servers you install. So the configuration partition got that information. So then here it is in the diagram. Look at here. In my forest, this is a symbolic representation of forest. So I have a, of course, we have a domains, but I am writing about a servers. So this is my ADDS server, means domain controller. Okay, domain controller. Again, I created another domain controller. So this is a domain controller 2. This is a domain controller 1. So obviously, this configuration will be synchronized each other. So maintaining same configuration and avoid the conflicts. Avoid the conflicts. So I put a domain 1 here, domain 1 here. Conflict will occur. So like that. So it will avoid the conflicts. It is very useful. Next, for example, I have a server. I installed a certification service, ADCS. I installed. This is the primary server, first server. In the forest, somewhere, not in the same domain, maybe different domain, but in the forest only. I installed another CS, means certification service server, and automatically it is a secondary server. Because it's a primary, automatically it is secondary server. How they know? Because of configuration partition. Because of configuration partitions. Same goes like in a forest, I have a Exchange server, mail server is there, Exchange server is there. Okay, this is my Exchange server. This Exchange server is first Exchange server. So when you create a second Exchange server within the forest, automatically it is a secondary only. Okay, so like that, it is the configuration. Don't think more. Okay, so schema is very important. Configuration is also very important, but theoretically it is different. Schema and configuration partition information or a content is same in entire forest, meaning is all domain controllers in the forest must have or a sync must have same schema and configuration. That's enough. Okay, so Active Directory partitions, three important partitions: schema, configuration, and domain partition. Schema and configuration partitions are maintain same, entire forest is same. Okay, to modify schema, user must be in enterprise admin and schema admin groups.
Active Directory లో schema and configuration ఉంటాయి.
What it is?
Active Directory configuration and schema is there. Both are different.
Schema and configuration partitions in the entire forest. If you take a forest, you have a lot of domains in the forest, right? You take a forest. So in the single forest, you have a multiple domains, like a root level domain controller. Okay, so root domain, tree domains, child domains, like that. So you will get a multiple domains in the same forest, right? So there in their database, means in Active Directory databases, they have a schema and configuration partition. So obviously what they will do, they replicate schema and configuration partitions to each other. Okay, so they will maintain schema partition same and configuration partition same. So enterprise admin and schema admin are belongs to our root domain. Our root domain admin is automatically enterprise admin. Only enterprise admin can able to change. You want to modify the schema, you must be a enterprise admin. Okay, so that's the point. So already I told guys, it is look like little Greek and Latin. If you don't get it also, no problem, that's not a big deal, but try to understand, that is important. The last one is a domain. Again, you know the domain. So domain means the domain partition contains information of users, groups, computer, and other things. Information of users, groups, computers, other things. Okay, so application partition is, they said, optional. Okay, so I'm trying to cover two things, like it's a schema and configuration partitions are a common in the entire forest, but domain partitions contains user information and computer information which is belongs to that domain only. Belongs to domain only. Okay, belongs to that domain only. So this is kind of stuff. Okay. So again, guys, just recalling, there is a physical component and logical components are there. So you can go to the PPT for a physical component and logical components, but I am trying to tell few important things are it is what is the domain, what are the partitions, what is Active Directory, database name, and what are the partitions are there, schema, configuration, domain, and application. Okay. So again, what is the schema? Schema is a schema defined structure of Active Directory like kind of stuff, but actually it defines how objects and attributes should be created and maintained. So different type of objects are there. So for example, user is an object, group is an object, OU is an object, and computer is an object. So what is the attributes? If there is a user having some properties, right, like a username, first name, last name, title name, email IDs, areas, address, links, websites. So there's a user information is called a users related attributes are there. Group information, so like a group name, group scope, group types, group related memberships. These are all called as attributes. OU related things, computer related things, attributes are there. So schema is defines how objects and attributes must be there. How objects and attributes must be there. That is a schema is defined. So that information stores in the schema partition. Okay. Next, configuration partition. Actually, it's very difficult to convey the configuration partition thing. The meaning is like if you have a in the forest, any configuration related like a ADDS or ADCS or ADRMS, you created any server with that one, automatically configuration partition will get updates. Okay, so then it avoids the conflicts between a primary server, secondary servers, or a different name of the services, domain names, subdomain names. It will avoid the confusion. Okay, so to modify the schema, so you must be a enterprise admin and a schema admin. Okay, and domain partition. Domain partition is like a what is a domain partition means? It's a Active Directory databases only. So it contains the main information of users, groups, computers, resources, and services, which is belongs to that domain only. Someone put a question. Okay, I will tell you, don't worry. Okay. So again, what is that domain only? Look at here. This is the domain, and in this domain partition contains this domain related information only. Okay. In this domain partition, this domain related information only. In this domain partition, in this domain related information only. Okay. So this domain information not available in here. That is like okay. But schema is same. Configuration partition is same in all domains. All domain controllers in the forest must have schema and configuration partition common. But domain partition is different from one domain to another domain. So that is simply partitions. Yeah, we'll go to OU. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I will go to OU guys, and then we'll see that's how OU works and all. OU means organizational unit because it's a very important First domain, forest, tree, and OU, and site, yeah, site. So I will write site first, and OU is last, because OU is we have to put a more pinning on it. So our domains location is different locations are there, right? So for example, in Delhi, actually we have a branch in Noida. Okay, in a Noida, for example, I have some domain controllers. Okay, DC, ADC, or some different domain related. User base is different. Okay, so in Hyderabad, you have a more servers like domain controllers are there. In Chennai, actually we don't have a branch in Chennai, as you know. Next, Pune, Bangalore, New Jersey, PA, means Exton. Okay, like different geographical locations. Okay, so different geographical locations. So we have a servers. Now, when you want to communicate, or sync the data between these servers, means this is also having schema partition, this is also having schema partition, configuration partitions also there, domain partitions also there, right? You want to synchronize these data. The partition data means schema partition, configuration partition, and domain partitions. You have to sync, means you have to distribute it. Now in Pune, we have some user base is different. Okay, groups are different, computers are different, and here in this Bangalore, user base is different. Things are different, like the partitions, information. So what happening? So mind and here's okay. Sorry guys. Okay, look at here. It is to simply say I have a domain 1 and there is a domain controller, and I have a domain 1 and there is a domain controller, and I have a domain 2 and this is a domain controller. I have a domain 2, this is a domain controller, this is also domain 2 related, this is also domain 2 related. Okay, so in a different geographical locations you have a servers. Okay, so what are the server configuration is there? You have to replicate the data. So what we are, it is first of all site. Important one is site. What is this site? It is based on your geographical location, your organization in a different geographical location. We club up all the servers. Together and put a site name. This is the Noida site. These servers are belongs to Noida. This is Pune site, Pune geographical location, and these are the servers. This is Hyderabad site. In Hyderabad site, these are the Hyderabad in location servers. Like logically, we divide our servers, our domain controllers, our domains into different sites. Okay, so this is called a site. Geographical location of your domain controllers, actually say, but some people say like a users and computers, geographical location wise. Okay, next, what is the use of creating these sites? See the distance between Pune to Noida. Distance between Noida to Hyderabad. Distance between Noida to Chennai is compared to Hyderabad to Chennai is nearest. Like that, I can create I can create some replication. I can create a one to site replication. So when I define a site to site replication, so you can easily replicate from one place to another place. So to avoid a burden on one single main server, to avoid a burden on one single main server, so we can able to distribute from one site to another site. Like I will create Pune to Noida site. What are the things we should replicate from which domain to which domain? Noida to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Chennai, Chennai to Bangalore site, and also from Pune to Exton or Noida to New Jersey or Exton, and there they will sync each other. So the distance, the physical distance will be reduced. Logically, it will sync very easily. So compared to gather to one central PC and central to everyone, that is very difficult. Okay, so instead of that one, we can easily sync or what we can replicate. So word is not sync, actually replicate. We can replicate the data from one site to another site very easily. So very simply say site means defining a geographical locations, geographical location of your domain controllers or users and computers. Okay, so that is a site. So the final one is organizational unit. Will tell. So then next we will do one more practical. We will do it. So first practical we will do it. Actually morning 10 o'clock I want to start that practical, but the columns are like that. Okay. Organizational unit. So what is organizational unit? Okay. So it organizes users, computers, groups, whatever it is, will come like resources and services into different containers. Okay, the container means it's something like a folder. Container is nothing but a folder. So look at here again. So this is the structure of things are there. So we'll see. This is the folder. For example, folder means a container, HR container, IT support container. Just for example, development container or developers container. In that one, so different type of developers are there. Java developer, .NET developer, Python developer. Okay, so Python developer like this, HR developer, IT support developer like this, right? Sorry, HR OU. In HR OU, I put some users. For example, Archana. Actually, your batch names are visually not in our mind, so that's Akash. Okay, so two users are belongs to HROU. Okay, so then Rajneesh. Okay, Sai Babu. Okay, is belongs to IT support OU. Okay, here Priya belongs to Java OU. Okay, I'm organizing. 1 second, guys. Okay, so here it is. I organizing the users depends upon their roles, depends upon their work or locations. Work or a location wise also I can take. For example, trainers OU. I put a OU called a trainers OU. The trainers OU. I put my name Latif, Madhu sir, and Sai Prasad sir, Sudeshna madam, like that. So I put a names here. Okay, so like that. So depends upon the user base. I will organize them. For example, I have a groceries are there. Like I went to the shopping, like a big bazaar kind of stuff. I went to a shop, like more shop is there. Trinetra more shop is the kind of stuff. Uh, okay, so when you went there, so you are a rice related one, atta related one, oil related one, or we can say vegetables related one, fruits related. Refrigerator type means cooling. You should maintain a cooling. Deep refrigerator means compulsory frozen conditions. Everything is separate container, right? You can't put everything into one place. So then if you put everything in one place, what happened? Confusion. Vegetarian related one, non-vegetarian related, egg related. So they will put a sections wise. Okay, sections wise. Okay, so section wise. Okay, so this is same thing, depends upon the user. So depends upon the type of user or work. So I created a this OUs. What is this OU? Organize the users, groups, and computers based on their based on their uh, profession or work. Group means which the project related, like a project 1, project 2, project 3, like that. So I can able to organize. Understand, guys, what is OU? So organize the users, groups, computers into different containers. So what is the advantage of organizing them? Look at here. I can easily apply a policies on a group basis. For example, HRs required a printer access. So I create a group policy and I given a link the group policy to the HROU. Means all these people will affect with this policy. They can able to access the printer. Okay, they got a printer access. Okay, there's something just like that one. IT support users can able to access like a network related access. I want to give like I created another group policy. Okay, another group policy. I link the group policy to IT support. Means Rajneesh and Sai Baba will get a affected with that policies. Next. For example, I apply a group policy and link to the Java OU, only sub OU, Java OU. Means one OU can contain sub OUs. So link to the Java OU, only Priya is the user. So only Priya will get that policy based settings. For example, I create a policy, that is I link it to developer OU. Under developer Java, .NET, Python sub OUs are there. Means all these OUs, users, groups, containers will affect with the policies. So that is a second point in the organizational unit. Means it is used to apply or link group policies. Okay, used to apply link group policies. Next one, we have a administrator. So domain, every domain has a administrators, right? So different administrators are there. In this one, for a small organization or a big organizations, lot of people are working, lot of people will get a different kind of issues. So every time users no need to contact administrator. So every time admin, they have to contact administrator for doing something. Like you want a group, you want to create a group, or you want to add a user to a group. So what have to do? So you have to contact admin. You have to change the password for a group user. Sorry, password changing. Okay, so changing password to the user. So like this. So this is a different type of things will happens in the thing. Okay. Okay. Admin. Okay. So every time. Sorry. So really, I need a break. I think so. Right. Really, I am speaking normally, guys, or something weird. I think I made you a lot of confusion. My mind is not stable today. Then I think. Okay. So for every changes, for everything, you have to contact administrator. So what I have to do is, I'll make, for example, Sai Babu is there. I make the Sai Babu as a admin for a only IT support OU. I make a Sai Babu. Sai Babu, you can have a control over IT support OU, but these are the roles only. What are the roles? Sai Babu can able to add a users to the groups, add users to the existing groups, or remove the users from the group. That Sai Babu can able to do it. So that's only one role I given. He's not a, I'm not giving complete control. So in a general in office or colleges also same thing, right? We given a class leader, okay, and temporary class leader. Like if we say like a school teacher will tell, yeah, come and stand here and don't make anybody's noise, keep everybody silent. The guy will think it is I'm a class leader now, and he will stand and see if anybody speaks, and no, he will report. He immediately will write on the notebook. So this guy is speaking. This guy is doing some other work. Okay, like that. So it is now. So temporarily, temporary means it's we are giving certain role, a small role, small admin type of role. We can able to give multiple things also we can give, like a Sai Babu can change the user's password. Sai Babu can able to change the user's password. Okay, and he can able to add a users to the group and remove from group. Like now two roles. You can give 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So different kind of roles I can able to assign to a user or a group on the particular OS. So that is sorry OU. That is called a delegation control. Delegation control. I will verify once again the spelling and I will tell. Okay. Delegation control. So we can able to control. We can assign delegation control on a OU to a user or a group. Okay, so apply a or a link the group policy on a OU. This is the OU and this is okay. Next thing, guys, what we are going to do is take a break. 10 minutes break is enough. So we back at 12:05 or 12:10. Okay, 12:05 and 12:10. So thing what we are going to discuss is how to add a client to domain. First we'll see this one. So the settings are there, so we'll do the settings and we'll join, and how to create a OU and user, and next one is login to client to login user to client PC. How to add a client PC to domain, how to create a OU, how to add a user, okay, how to add or create a user, okay, how to log into user. This is we're going to discuss in the next. So take a break, be back here, and we'll continue. Okay, at least I will put some tea, then mind at least refresh. Okay, I'm stop recording.